They are the people with the biggest and longest body parts in the world. Yes, they really exist. They breathe, they live. From hands as long as an arm to hair that's even longer than a bus. Here are 20 people with the most extraordinary bodies in all of Africa. But before that, please like and subscribe to this video first. That would mean a lot to us content creators. Thank you, and let's get started. Number 20, Sulemana Abdul Samed, the giant from Ghana who continues to grow. This is the life of Sulemana Abdul Samed, or better known by his nickname O, in the town of Gambaga in northern Ghana. It's impossible not to notice him. It's not just that he's tall, he's literally a giant. At his last measurement, he reached 9 feet and 6 inches. And what's even more surprising is that he might still be growing until now. According to doctors, he has what's called pituitary gigantism, a rare condition where the brain releases too much growth hormone. This means it's not just about height, it's also a fight for survival. His spine is curved, his legs are swollen, and he endures pain every day. In their small town, there are hardly any facilities that can address this kind of condition. The first time the health workers tried to measure him, they even ran out of tape measure. That's true. They just estimated it. When the real measurement came out at the hospital, even the staff were stunned. But despite all the hardships and the stares from people, Ao remains calm. He's not just merely surviving. He accepted his differences and made them part of his story. Number 19, Joyce Addo, the woman who almost got into an accident because of her large chest. Unlike others labeled busty, Joyce Addo, known online as Boosty Ghana, truly embodies being extra. She is one of the most well-known personalities in Ghana, not just because of her charisma, but also because of her extraordinary anatomy. Because of the size of her chest, she can barely see when she's wearing a bra. In an interview with disc jockey Niami of SVTV Africa, she shared the unforgettable incident. She tripped on the stairs because she couldn't see her feet due to the size of her chest. Yes, it's true. She was rushed to the hospital. She spent a week recovering and says she even sees more clearly without a bra. It's funny, but honestly, it's also dangerous. But instead of being embarrassed, Joyce is proud of her body. In a world that tries to diminish women, she's standing tall and brave. She doesn't hide. And for many, that's true strength. Number 18, Gabriel Miani, the former tallest person in the world. Before giants became popular on TikTok or YouTube, Gabriel Miani from Mozambique was literally standing above everyone else, at a height of 8 feet and almost 1 inch. He wasn't just the tallest in Africa. He was also the former holder of the Guinness World Record as the tallest living person in the world. He was born in 1944. Gabriel grew rapidly because of a condition called acromegaly, when the body produces too much growth hormone. By the time he reached his teenage years, it was clear that this was not normal growth. But Gabriel's story isn't all praise. Because of his size, he has difficulty moving, suffers from severe body pain, and lacks proper medical attention in the rural area where he grew up. Even so, he traveled to different countries as a circus performer, became famous, and was recognized by the whole world. He received a Guinness World Records honor in 1988. But just 2 years later, a slip at home caused his passing. He was 46 years old then, a life that was so big yet so short. Number 17, John Weru, the man who didn't cut his nails for more than 20 years. Others show their dedication through training or sacrifice. But John Weru from Kenya, through his nails, he has been growing them for more than 25 years. And now they are even longer than a ruler. More than a foot each. Yes, it's true. And this isn't just for show. According to him, these are a symbol of discipline and determination. He doesn't use any special products, just natural care and a lot of caution. But in exchange, he struggles with daily tasks. Imagine buttoning a shirt, using a cell phone, or shaking hands. Each is a challenge. Some people just raise their eyebrows. Some people say it's weird. But for John, his nails are a part of who he is. He has already been featured on several local television and news outlets, and now he's a low-key celebrity. It's not just his long nails, but also his strong convictions. When you start something, stand by it until the end. Number 16, Brahim Takiola, the man with the biggest feet in the world. For most people, shopping for shoes is already difficult. But for Brahim Takiola from Morocco, it's almost impossible. He holds the Guinness World Record for the biggest feet in the world. Just one of his feet measures 13 inches long, about the size of a whole sheet of bond paper. With a European size 58, even the largest shoe stores don't have anything that fits him. So the solution is to have custom shoes made by orthopedic experts. But it's not just Brahim's feet that are unusual. At 8 feet 1 inch tall, he's also one of the tallest living people today. Like others on this list, he has a condition called acromegaly, which is caused by an excess of growth hormone in the body. Born in 1982, changes in his body went unnoticed until his teens, when his growth surpassed normal levels. At age 18, he was already taller than the teachers and doctors who measured him. He already underwent surgery to stop the abnormal growth, but the size of his body, especially his feet, could no longer be restored. This has become a permanent part of his identity. Number 15, Manu Tebol is the NBA player whose heart is bigger than his body. The first time Manu Tebol set foot on an NBA court, everyone turned to look, not just because he was tall. He stood 7 feet 7 inches tall and had a wingspan of 8 feet 6 inches. It was like he didn't need to jump to block a shot. But the biggest part of Manute wasn't his body, it was his heart. Born in 1962 in Sudan, Manute came from the Dinka tribe, a people known for their towering height. He was one of the best defensive players of his era in the NBA. He was even more admired after basketball. While civil war was consuming Sudan, he used his earnings and fame to help. He spent millions of dollars for the victims. He built schools, hospitals, and helped refugees. Because of this, he went bankrupt. His health also deteriorated, with complications in his body one after another. But even when he was sick, he didn't stop helping others. Manute passed away in 2010, but his story is still alive. Not just as a player, but as a true hero of his country. Number 14. Umbalano women, the Rapunzel women of Africa. They don't need a story to be young. They are the fairy tale. The Umbalano women from Namibia were once known as the women with the longest natural hair in all of Africa. Their hair strands literally reached the floor. But this didn't just grow naturally. It took years of effort. The sacred hair care process starts when they're still young, using a mixture of natural oils, medicinal herbs, tree bark, and powdered earth or ochre. It is carefully woven, shortened, lengthened, and strengthened using natural techniques. As young women, their hair becomes a crown of culture, femininity, and honor, not just an ornament. Hair is also used on special occasions such as weddings, childbirth, and rituals of coming of age. But when the influence of colonialism and modern living arrived, this tradition gradually disappeared. Now, only a small part remains: pictures, stories, and elders who still remember how the hair of Umbalana women was once a symbol of beauty and identity throughout Africa. Number 13, Abiodun Adegoke, the tallest basketball prospect in Africa. Even NBA players look small when standing next to Abiodun Adegoke. He is known by the nickname Big Naija, and his height ranges between 7 feet 9 inches to 7 feet 11 inches. It depends on which scout you ask. Imagine, he's tall, moves lightly on the court, defends well, has quick feet, and such a long wingspan, he barely needs to jump to dunk. There was even a viral video showing him dunking without jumping. Shaquille O'Neal was so surprised he reacted to the clip himself. Born in Nigeria, Abiodun grew up in a place without proper training facilities, the right shoes, or even access to proper health care. But even with limited resources, he proved that he could keep up. Now, he continues his training to reach the NBA, but for Abiodun, it's not just about the game. He also wants to be an inspiration to kids like him who dream, even if they start with limited means. Number 12, Ring Owolkan Malawach, 17 years old, 7 feet 2 inches tall, Olympic bound. While other teens are busy with TikTok and ML, Ring A. Well, Can Malawach is already representing South Sudan in the Olympic qualifiers. And he's only 17 years old. He stands 7 feet 2 inches tall. And according to the coaches, he's still growing. Born amid conflict and poverty in South Sudan, Ring's youth was full of hardship, fear, and struggle just to survive each day. But even in that situation, the NBA Academy Africa saw unique potential in him. They fed, taught, and trained him, resulting in a young beast on the court, tall and fast. He has a high basketball intelligence quotient and doesn't just use his height. He understands timing, passing, and defense. Many international scouts noticed him during the International Basketball Federation World Cup qualifiers. But what's most impressive is not just his skill, but his purpose. He's serious, not just for himself, but for his country that wants to rise up. Number 11, Charles Sugley, the giant from Volta, who's just looking for shoes. He's not a celebrity, he's not a viral star, but Charles Sugley, considered the tallest man in the Volta region of Ghana, has a story as tall as his body. He stands over 7 feet tall, and because of that, not a single pair of shoes fits him. Every day he walks barefoot, whether the road is hot or the surroundings are dirty. Aside from being dangerous, it's also sometimes embarrassing for him. His mother said she carried Charles for 10 months before his birth, and since then, they already knew there was something different about him. He grew up fast and hardly ever stopped, but his large body came with a difficult life. He didn't have a proper chair, bed, or even a tricycle. That could fit him. Even his clothes always had to be custom made. And what's worse, he never wished to be famous. He just wanted a decent pair of shoes and a little medical help. In a world focused on viral stories, it's surprising that someone like him, who truly needs help, remains silent. Number 10, Suleiman Ali Nashnoush, Libya's silent giant. Not many people can say they were part of the national basketball team. He appeared in Fellini's film and reached a height of 8 feet and 1/2 inch. But Suleiman Ali Nashnoush did all of that, and almost no one knows his full story. He was born in 1943 in Tripoli, Libya. His growth was normal when he was a child, but in his teens he suddenly grew rapidly. Because of his height, he was diagnosed with a tumor near the pituitary gland, the part of the brain that controls growth hormones. The result was gigantism, and not just any height. His final height was 8 feet. Instead of being ashamed, Suleiman turned his size into an advantage. He became a player for the Libyan national basketball team and later entered show business. He also appeared in Federico Fellini's 1969 film Satyricon. Behind the spotlight, he faced hardships, bodily pain, mobility issues, and inadequate treatment. He also underwent surgery to stop the abnormal growth, but by then he was already too big to go back to normal. He died in 1991. It was quiet and not widely discussed, but his story is an important part of the history of people with unusual size. Number 9, Hussein Bisad, the man with giant hands and a giant heart. Hussein Bisad was once considered the tallest man in the world, and at his height of 7 feet 9 inches, it's no wonder. But more than his height, the story behind his silence is even heavier. Born in Somalia, Hussein has acromegaly, a condition where the body produces an excessive amount of growth hormone. He didn't just get taller, his hands also grew huge, with palms over 10 inches wide. Because of the war in Somalia, he was forced to flee and seek asylum in the United Kingdom. That's where he started over. But it wasn't easy. He was often in the hospital, had bone problems, difficulty moving, and was frequently alone. Now, he is in a care home and has a full-time caregiver, but despite everything, he never stopped fighting. Not for himself, but for others. In a public appeal, he called for the rights and dignity of people with disabilities. His body may be extraordinary, but his heart and courage are immeasurable. Number 8. Munir Forar, the towering tragedy from Algeria. When Munir Forar was still alive, he was known as the tallest man in Africa and the second tallest in the world. His height was 8 feet 2 inches. He was born in Batna, Algeria. At first, his growth was normal, but when he reached 12 years old, everything started to change. His pituitary gland was affected, and the abnormal growth continued, a kind of gigantism. While people were amazed by his size, Munir quietly suffered. It's not easy to live at this height. He has difficulty walking, eating is hard, and sleeping is even harder. Due to limited medical support in their area, he usually just endures everything. He didn't complain, nor did he act like a superstar. He quietly accepted everything and tried to live with purpose. But in 2012, he passed away, not because of old age, but because his heart grew weary from all the years he fought pain and sadness in silence. Munir is a reminder that people with unusual physical appearances have a deeper story than just what is seen on the outside. Number 7, Tutsi tribe, the tallest tribe in all of Africa. With just one step from the Tutsi, it's like a model's walking. They're not only known for their culture, they are also recognized as Africa's tallest tribe, possibly even worldwide. From the regions of Rwanda and Burundi, the Tutsi have an average male height of over 6 feet 1 inch. And many women are almost as tall as well. They have smooth bodies, long limbs, and a bearing like kings and queens. According to studies, this is said to be a combination of genetics, high-altitude living, and a traditional diet rich in protein, particularly from milk and beef, but it's not just about height. The Tutsi have a deep history. In the past, they were leaders and caretakers of livestock. But when severe conflicts occurred, they also became the target. In 1994, hundreds of thousands of Tutsi were killed in the Rwanda genocide, a dark chapter in Africa's history. Yet the Tutsi rose again despite hardship, not just physically, but as a strong and resilient people. 6th, the Dinka tribe, South Sudan's natural giants. If there were a throne for the world's tallest tribe, the Dinka of South Sudan would have a strong claim. The average height of the men reaches 6 feet 4 inches, and it's not just because of their race. According to experts, this is due to a combination of genetics and a diet rich in protein, especially from milk and meat, and an active lifestyle as cattle herders, even without going to the gym. Many naturally have six-pack abs. They have long legs, they stand upright, and their presence is intense. It's like every step they take carries an aura of dignity. But more than their height, the Dinka have a deep role in the history of South Sudan. They are warriors, leaders, and guardians of the spiritual traditions of their land. And now that their country is slowly rising from decades of war, you can once again see young Dinka in refugee camps, schools, and even in Olympic arenas. Carrying the dreams and dignity of their tribe, number 5, Maasai tribe, the warrior with the bearing of a hero. When it comes to culture, bravery, and stature, the Maasai of Kenya and northern Tanzania are always there. Their average male height is 6 feet 3 inches, but their true mark is their bearing, upright, brave, and with an extraordinary courage. They are well known for their red shuka, the traditional attire, and their dance called a dumu, a ceremonial jumping dance where they literally jump into the air as if there's no gravity. But it's not just a performance. This is where they measure strength, courage, and the right to become a warrior. They are traditional cattle herders, and their food consists of milk, meat, and sometimes even fresh blood from cattle. Because of this, their bodies are lean and strong even as they age. But behind their iconic image, they continue to fight for their land and identity against the modern world. Amid land disputes and development pressures, they remain standing, both literally and symbolically, as monuments of culture and identity in Africa. Number 4, Afisa Goro, the person who surpassed everyone in Nigeria. With a huge population in Nigeria, there's only one person you don't need to look for, Afisa Goro. He is known as the tallest man in the country and stands at 7 feet 4 inches. But what's surprising is that he wasn't born tall. When he was a child, he was just normal. But when he reached his late teens, he suddenly grew much bigger. He was diagnosed with acromegaly, a condition where there is an excessive production of growth hormone. That's why he didn't just get taller, his hands, feet, and even his joints also grew larger. And because of his enormous size, even simple things like entering a door became a struggle. He has to bend down first before he can enter. His shoes are always custom made. Chairs and beds don't fit him. To make things worse, he has chronic arthritis. His joints hurt almost every day. But instead of being ashamed, he used this as his platform. He starred in Nollywood movies, became a model, and even had his own reality show called I Am a Goro. Here he admitted that being tall isn't always a blessing. It comes with burdens people don't see. Afisa Goro passed away in 2023, but his story remains alive. Big in body and even bigger in impact. Number 3, Francisco Domingo Joaquim, the mouth like no other. This isn't clickbait. Francisco Domingo Joaquim from Angola is officially the person with the widest mouth in the world. According to Guinness World Records, how wide is it? His mouth can open 6.69 inches wide. It's wide enough to fit an entire can of soft drink sideways. He discovered this talent during his teenage years. Initially, it was just for fun with friends, but when his video swallowing unbelievable things with his mouth went viral, he suddenly became an internet sensation. He was invited to international talent shows and joined the Guinness World Records in 2010. And he really did win. But the question many people have is this fake? Is it surgery? No. Doctors who examined him said everything is natural. The elasticity of his mouth, jaw muscles, and skin is beyond normal. No surgery. No tricks. Now, Francisco remains a simple man. He doesn't brag much about his talent, but when needed, he's ready to show a mouth that's literally world class. Number 2, Asha Zulu Mandela has hair longer than a bus. She isn't a queen, but she has a crown, and it's made from her own hair. Asha Zulu Mandela, who was born in Trinidad and Tobago and now lives in the United States, is known as the woman with the longest dreadlocks in the world. How long is her hair? Over 110 feet. Yes, even longer than a city bus. She started growing her hair more than 40 years ago as part of a personal transformation. For her, it's not a trend. It's a spiritual journey. In every strand of her hair, she says her strength, identity, and healing energy are present. But it's not easy. When her hair is wet, it weighs more than 25 pounds. According to doctors, this could affect her spine. But even with the warning, she refused to cut it. She said, "My hair is part of who I am. Cutting it would be like cutting off my spirit." And with everything she's been through, from discrimination to people saying she's extreme, she remained strong. Her hair is not just an ornament. It is a living symbol of who she is and where she came from. First, newer people. They stand tall in both stature and heritage. At the very bottom of the Nile Valley in South Sudan, that's where the newer people are. A people who are not just tall, but also strong, brave, and have a solid identity. They are known as one of the tallest ethnic groups in all of Africa, where many men reach over 6 feet in height. But the secret to their size isn't just genes. Their entire way of life is anchored in nature, especially in their most valuable asset, cattle. Milk is not just food, it's a sacred part of their culture. Their diet is rich in natural protein from dairy and meat. Their daily activities as pastoralists, from tending livestock to working the land, keep their bodies lean and athletic. But more than their height, the Nuer are truly remarkable because of how they held on to their identity despite the chaos. They survived civil wars, forced displacement, and the fragmentation of their country. Despite everything, they remained standing, tall in stature and even taller in dignity. Their culture remains alive in their rituals, in their language, and in the generations to come. While the world is rapidly changing, they remain the root of their own identity. At the end of all the stories on this list, the newer people are a reminder that being extraordinary is not always individual. Sometimes the whole community rises together, stands up, and creates a story that is taller than any skyscraper.